Despite some acceptance of gay relationships in Jamaica, local advocates are still at loggerheads over the rights and freedoms of Jamaicans who identify as anything other than heterosexual. To shed more light on the issue, here is Brittania Witter, who explored the patterns since 2006.
Me, man, bread back. That's what I'm putting on the paper.
From dancehall lyrics to colloquial language used between friends, Jamaica is seen as a quintessential homophobic society. In 2006, Time magazine dubbed the country the most homophobic place on earth. But how homophobic is Jamaica really? That was 2006. It's now 2024, almost 2 decades later, but has anything changed? With a group of young Jamaicans poised and motivated to celebrate what they believe in through the introduction of new gay pride events every year, are Jamaicans becoming less homophobic? Well, CVM News sat with Glenroy Murray, the Executive Director for Equality JA, formerly known as J-Flag, to understand how Jamaicans perceive the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and the queer community now when compared to recent years.
What we're noticing actually is that there is a growing increase in tolerant and positive attitudes. So between the last one in 2019 and now, we've seen a bump of 8% in tolerant and positive attitudes from 24% in 2019 to 32% now. So we're almost at 1/3 of the population.
According to an 87-page report that summarizes the awareness, attitudes, and perceptions of Jamaicans towards the gay community, from 60% in 2015 to 33% in 2023 in the number of people who hate or reject LGBTQ+ relationships. In contrast, the group's needs assessment findings show that the members of the community are experiencing a negative increase in other areas.
What it tells us is that our community still has certain experiences. We are still seeing high levels of violence and discrimination facing our community. And actually, based on when we previously did our community needs assessment in 2019, there's been an increase from 73% to upwards of 80% of members of our LGBT community facing discrimination. We're also seeing an increase in the number of persons who face displacement. That means they've been put out of their homes.
For many people, Jamaica is still considered the most hostile Caribbean nation towards same-sex relations, as several advocacy groups describe the LGBTQ+ community a threat to the country's Christian beliefs. Earlier this year, the U.S. Embassy's decision to ban the flying of the pride flag was welcomed, as the advocacy groups believe the flag is an insult to Jamaica's religious laws and constitutions. Despite this, Murray says while many people of faith are opposed to the community, others are actually quite welcoming.
It is the gays against the church, for example. And actually, in our dialogue with people of faith, that's not always been the experience. So let's be clear. There are members of the faith community that are vehemently opposed to us having our rights protected, to us having the same access to public goods as everyone else, because they think that's a stepping stone to something way more nefarious. But there are members of the faith community that have been open to us, that we've sat with.
Brittania Witter, CVM News.